So far we have covered powers of 10 of engineering notation. This time I'm going to talk about the metric prefixes and their symbols. You're supposed to keep in mind that we're supposed to use symbols of metric prefixes only with numbers which have the unit of measure. Unit of measure such as amp, volt, farad, coulomb, hertz, and many more we are going to cover during the sessions for electronics and physics. Now, you're supposed to realize that anytime we talk about the symbols of metric prefixes, we talk in terms of international language. I mean that you have to be very specific. Let's say if power of 10, like 10 to negative 12, is symbolized by lowercase letter p, you have to make sure that you are going to use always lowercase letter p. Power of 10, 10 to negative 9, is labeled by letter N, which stands for nano. 10 to negative 6 is mu. This is U with tail. Micro. Okay, you have to make sure that you are going to use these letters all the time, anytime you represent this power of 10. Let's say if you want to express 10 to negative 3, you're supposed to write always lowercase letter m. You cannot use capital letter because capital letter stands for mega. Power of 10, 10 to 0, has no symbol and no prefix name. So anytime you are going to have power of 10 like this, means you don't have to use any prefix. Now, 10 to the third is represented by lowercase letter k, which stands for kilo. 10 to the sixth is capital M. Capital M, never write lowercase letter m. M stands for mega, capital M. 10 to 9, capital G, stands for giga. And 10 to 12, T, tera. Keep in mind that you're supposed to be familiar with all these symbols and use proper symbol for the proper power of 10. Let's take a look at these examples. We're supposed to replace power of 10 by one of these symbols. I mean, by the proper symbol for this power of 10. So I'm supposed to write simply 3.6, and instead of times 10 to negative 3, I'm going to write lowercase letter m, milliamp. You're supposed to keep in mind that this is international language and you're supposed to use the proper symbols for the proper powers of 10. Let's take a look at the second example. I have 7.14 times 10 to negative 6. 10 to negative 6 is represented by mu. I said this is U with the tail. Okay, so I'm going to write 7.14 microvolts. And this is the answer to my problem. Let's take a look at the third problem. 1.6 times 10 to negative 12 farads. So I have 10 to negative 12. 10 to negative 12 is represented by letter P, lowercase letter P. So I'm going to write 1.6 picofarads. Probably most of you don't know at this moment what means amp, volt, farad. At this moment, we don't care too much about their meanings. We simply care about the prefixes. And you're supposed to keep in mind that we can use prefix only with the number which has the value of measure, like volt, amp, farad, and many more we are going to cover in the future.